pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Mayor,
Councilman Jost.
I move we approve the agenda as presented, except what I'd like to remove item D from the agenda for tonight's meeting.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. So when I forget, you guys remind me that.
Okay. It's not there.
Okay, first we're going to have proclamations. First one is Blood Cancer Awareness Month. Do we have anybody here? So go ahead and just introduce yourself. Hey, guys.
Reed's bamboozling me. Hi, my name's Tiffany Marshall. I'm here just, I generally come and represent Memorial Hospital of Sweetwater County. But today I am just a citizen acknowledging, a couple things this month. I know September is a very, very busy month and there are a lot of really, really good causes. Today I'm here, for the proclamation for, blood cancer awareness. And then on top of that, also childhood cancer awareness as well. I was going to give you guys a long speech, but I think the information in the declarations actually cover it pretty well. I do want to say, childhood cancer awareness, it's something that people tend to not really want to talk about. It's out there. It's kind of looped into just cancer in general, but it's just not. And so anything that we can do to really kind of bring that up and get that conversation talking about the way that we can support and fund that. There's going to be a statistic read in the proclamation, but I believe there's only been 6 new drugs that have been approved to address childhood cancer awareness in the last, I can't remember, 20 years, 10 years, 30 years. And just to give a little insight on that, when my son was diagnosed and he went through a round of chemo, his first round of chemo, he went through 10 different drugs in a month. And so when you think about only 6 drugs have been approved, but for one specific version of infant leukemia, it took 10 different drugs. It really is kind of eye-opening. The other thing that I just wanted to point out is, as much as we don't want to talk about it or address it, it is there, it is out there. I want to say it was July of 2021. We were down at Primary Children's and our whole pod was Sweetwater County kids. And that was really, really eye-opening for us to see that we weren't alone. There were 2 leukemia kids, a brain tumor kiddo, and then another kiddo that I'm not going to touch on right now. So it's there, it's out there, and anything that we can do to bring awareness to it, especially in a community where we don't have a lot of resources. That's just kind of our goal. So that's why we're here today.
Okay, thank you, Tiffany. I'm gonna ad lib on the reading of this a little bit because we have quite a full agenda.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna read a few of them. We're gonna have you come up and I'll come down with you and take a picture and we'll have the council just stand beside right up here. Okay, so you don't have to go up and down. Yeah, I'm gonna read both of them just
Perfect.
briefly.
Yep.
Okay, whereas an estimated, this is Blood Cancer Awareness Month proclamation, whereas an estimated 1,297,027 people in the United States are either living with or in remission from leukemia, lymphoma, or myeloma.
Myeloma.
Okay. And whereas new cases of leukemia, lymphoma, and myeloma are expected to account for 9.4% of the estimated 1,958,310 new cancer cases that will be diagnosed in 2023, whereas approximately every 3 minutes, one person in the United States is diagnosed with one of these 3 cancers. Whereas approximately every 9 minutes, someone dies in the US from blood cancer. Leukemias are the most common cancer in children and account for approximately 28% of all childhood cancers. Whereas researchers and healthcare professionals work diligently dedicating their expertise to treating and curing these cancers, Sweetwater County is committed to the eradication of blood cancers and supports the treatment of its citizens that suffer from them. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Pete Russ, Mayor, do hereby proclaim September 2023 as Blood Cancer Awareness Month, and I encourage all to observe Blood Cancer Awareness Month and support this cause that so deeply impacts families in our communities as well as those across the country. I'm going to read the childhood cancer. Whereas childhood cancer is the leading cause of death by disease in children. 1 in 285 children in the United States will be diagnosed by their 20th birthday. 1 in 285. Whereas 46 children a day, or 16,790 per year, are diagnosed with cancer in the US, whereas 80% of the childhood cancer patients are diagnosed late and with metastatic disease, whereas 2/3 of the child cancer patients will have chronic health conditions as a result of the treatment toxicity, whereas approximately 1/2 of the childhood cancer families rate the associated financial toxicity due to out-of-pocket expenses as considerable and severe. And this is what you were mentioning, whereas in the last 30 years, only 6 new drugs have been approved by the FDA to specifically treat childhood cancer, whereas the National Cancer Institute recognizes the unique research needs of childhood cancer and the associated needs for increased funding to carry this out. And whereas hundreds of nonprofit organizations at the local and national level, including the American Childhood Cancer Organization, are helping children with cancer and their families cope with through educational, emotional, and financial support. And whereas too many children are affected by this deadly disease and more must be done to raise awareness, whereas Sweetwater County is committed to the eradication of childhood cancers and supports the treatment of its citizens that suffer from them. Now, therefore, I, Pete Russ, Mayor of City of Green River, Wyoming, do hereby proclaim September 2023 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and again, encourage all to observe Childhood Cancer Awareness Month and support this cause that so deeply impacts families in our community as well as those across the country.
Yeah, you guys just stand there and. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, the next one is diaper needs awareness. Is there anybody here for this particular one? Okay. Again, I'm gonna ad lib on this, and certainly then you can speak, or you can speak and I can ad lib, however you'd like to do it. Would you like to speak first, or?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
So I'm TJ Lopez. I'm with the board of United Way. As you all know, diaper need is a huge issue, and not in Sweetwater County, but all around the world. I don't have the exact number, but between our county and Uinta County, we have provided at least 72,000 diapers just in the 2022. That's all I really have for you guys.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to read this briefly and we'll just do the same thing then. Okay. Tell me your name again.
TJ Lopez.
TJ. I can remember that, TJ. Well, at least for 5 minutes. Whereas diaper need, the condition of not having a sufficient supply of clean diapers to keep babies and toddlers clean, dry, and healthy can adversely affect the health and the well-being of babies, toddlers, and their families. Whereas 1 in 3 families struggles with diaper needs. Children go through 6 to 12 diapers each day during the 2 to 3 years they wear diapers. Whereas most child care facilities require parents to provide diapers for their children, in the state of Wyoming, 59% of parents experiencing diaper need who rely on childcare said they missed an average of 4 days of work or school in the past month because they didn't have diapers. Whereas Green River is proud to be home to trusted community-based organizations, including the Community Diaper Bank of Southwest Wyoming, that recognize the importance of diaper needs. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Pete Russ, Mayor of the City of Green River, do hereby proclaim the week of September 18th through the 24th as Diaper Need Awareness Week in the City of Green River, and thank the aforementioned diaper banks, their staff, volunteers, and encourage the citizens of Green River to donate generously to diaper banks, diaper drives, and those organizations that collect and distribute diapers. I know that the rec center typically has a place where people donate because we donate each year, or at least we try. So try and pay attention because there's a need out there and they need help. Okay. So let's take a picture here. Don't pass me at the end of the meeting. Okay, Hunger Action Month proclamation. Is there anybody here for this? Okay. And by now you should know the routine.
I'm Kathy Seiler, the Director of Food Bank of Sweetwater County. And thank you so much for this proclamation. Food Bank of Sweetwater County is on the front lines of fighting hunger in our community. We would like to remind everyone to help fight against hunger and food insecurity. Please take the time to host a food drive or donate food items to a local food pantry. Help those who are food insecure connect with their local food pantry and help end hunger in Wyoming. And I'd also like to add that all of the libraries are drop points for the food bank for non-perishable food items.
Kathy, how long have you been doing this?
Since 2004,
Okay.
19 years.
Okay. It's like I can remember TJ's name now and Kathy Seiler. I definitely know the name after all these years. So one thing I don't understand in this, it says, whereas more than 332,655 residents of Sweetwater County rely annually on food provided by the food bank. Is that possible? Don't we only have 50,000 people in one of my?
You know, I think they're doing duplicate counts because we keep our own numbers and those are not our counts.
Yeah.
However, that's Food Bank of Wyoming's numbers that they've
Okay.
sent to you. And I think that has to do with their mobile pantry and their duplicate distributions.
It's probably a number of people served rather than residents of Sweetwater County
That probably
over the
make-
course of a period.
makes sense to me. I did bring numbers. I have them over at my chair if you want more accurate numbers.
No, that's okay. I just, so I'm just going to read this briefly. Whereas addressing the food insecurity needs of children, youth, men, women, seniors, active military, and veterans today is fundamental for the future of Green River. Whereas hunger and poverty are issues of vital concern in Sweetwater County, where 12% of the people struggle with hunger and 1 in every 6 children do not know where their next meal will come from. Whereas the Food Bank of Wyoming provides over 20,530 individual meals on an average day across Wyoming. The food bank strives to engage each of us to help end hunger 1 meal at a time, either through donations, social media shares, or volunteer shifts. And whereas the month of September is designated Hunger Action Month in order to bring attention to food insecurity in our communities, now therefore be it resolved that I, Pete Russ, Mayor of Green River, do hereby proclaim September 2023 as Hunger Action Month and encourage all citizens to increase their understanding and awareness of food insecurity and how it impacts our nation, state, county, and communities. Come on up. Okay, I don't have to ask if there's people here for this one because I know the answer to that. So the POW MIA Recognition Day. I'm going to go ahead and read this, and if anybody would then like to make any comments, they can, okay? Whereas when service members take an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States, they do so knowing that they may be called upon to make a great sacrifice to ensure and sustain our shared values. Whereas 1,582 Americans are still missing and unaccounted for from the Vietnam War, the Korean War, the Cold War, World War II, World War I, World War II. There are also many still missing from the Gulf Wars and other conflicts. Whereas the families and friends of unaccounted for Vietnam veterans, as well as countless fellow veterans and other Americans, still await recovery and identification of then remains or clarity regarding their fates. Whereas successive administrations have reinforced our commitment to accounting for our nation's POWs, MIAs as a huge priority for the United States, and whereas POW MIA Recognition Day is a way to honor our prisoners of war and missing in action soldiers, especially by advocating for greater assistance from other countries in providing documents and answering questions about unaccountable American soldiers. Whereas the city of Green River commends our nation's commitment to account as fully as possible for Americans still missing from our nation's wars. And whereas the city of Green River and its citizens are observed the 3rd Friday in September as Prisoner of War Missing in Action Recognition Day. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Pete Russ, the mayor of the city of Green River, do hereby recognize Friday, September 15th as POW MIA Recognition Day throughout the city of Green River in honor of all Americans still missing and unaccounted for from the Vietnam War, the Korean War, the Cold War, World War II, and the Gulf Wars and other conflicts. Urge all citizens to observe this day with the appropriate ceremonies, honor, and respect. Does anybody would like to address the council on this?
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Earl McDonald. I'm with the District 4 of the Vietnam vets. And what I like to say is District 4 itself does not have any POWs. But we're having a midwinter convention. We're also having summer convention next year. And what I will do is take the proclamation and I will page the different members and see if they know of any POW, MIA, and award that to them. Does the American Legion have anything to say?
Hi, I'm Summer Havens from the American Legion as the first vice commander. I just wanted to take the time to thank you for recognizing these people who have paid the ultimate sacrifice in their defense of our country, and to thank you for bringing attention to the fact there's so many people that are POWs and MIAs. It's literally enough people to fill Rock Springs and Green River at least twice over. It's very important to us that these people are not forgotten.
Anybody else?
Past commander, post 2321, VFW, Vietnam. What I'd like to say is that any POW out there, he's not the only person hurting. There is a family out there that POW belongs to. The MIA, he belongs to a family. He didn't just appear out of the sky. We don't know whether he's alive, dead, or in the mine or wherever. But we care. We wear these patches every day on our uniforms. The American Legion carries their POW flag. We have a flag up the cemetery in the vet plot. It's not for us. It's for them. Anything we do, the American Legion does, any veteran out there knows that they honor the MIA POW every day of their lives, because there is no politician will take care of them like we do. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, guys, come on up. We'll take a picture and
Go ahead and go.
yes.
HAVENS.
Okay, got it. Okay, thanks. Sure. Okay, and then Suicide Prevention Awareness Month.
Hello, my name is Shay Haney. I'm the prevention specialist of Sweetwater County, as well as the coordinator of the Sweetwater County Prevention Coalition. On behalf of myself and my coalition, we just want to thank the city of Green River for putting forth this proclamation for suicide awareness. It is an important thing to talk about, as awareness is key to preventing suicide, because it's such a big thing in Wyoming, as we are ranked #1 in the United States. And in fact, Sweetwater County through 2019 to 2021, we are ranked #4 for most suicides. However, those numbers are going down. There has been more research coming forth that suicides, not just in Sweetwater County, but throughout the state, have been going down. And truly, awareness is key. The more we talk about suicide, the more we can prevent suicide. The more we can ask those questions of, are you thinking about suicide? The more we can actually prevent it. So we just want to thank you so much for putting forth this, because it's an amazing thing. And we just need to be talking more about suicide. We are also hosting a bunch of different events this year. We are having our International Survivors of Suicide Loss Day in November. Everybody is welcome to join us. We will be at Broadway Theater November 18th. We will also be at the Up in Arms Gun Show, handing out free locks for guns. So thank you so much, and we really appreciate you putting forth this proclamation.
Thank you. And it's good to hear certainly that the numbers are going down. So I'm going to read this briefly and then come on up. Whereas suicide is a national and state public health challenge that causes immeasurable pain among individuals, families, and communities across our great nation. Whereas according to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States, second among individuals between the ages of 10 and 34. On average, there are 130 suicides a day, a total of 47.5 deaths. Whereas in the United States, Wyoming is ranked number one for suicide deaths. The state suicide rate was the highest in the United States and almost twice the national average. Whereas Suicide Prevention Awareness Month can promote awareness and can assist in developing and implementing strategies to improve and increase access to quality mental health, substance abuse, and suicide prevention services and programs. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Pete Rest, Mayor, do hereby proclaim September 2023 as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month and urge not only all Green River residents, but all Wyoming citizens to support services available to their respective communities to address mental health issues, suicide prevention services, and the programs that are available. Okay, we have citizen requests and other communications coming up now. I'm just going to let people know that I'm going to hold to 3 minutes because we have a big agenda. So I'm going to wave, and when you get this, you need to cut off. And then we will have a brief recess because there's a bunch of people here that showed up for a particular issue. And so hang with us for about 5 minutes and we'll have a brief recess. Okay. So is there anybody that is not on the agenda that would like to address the council? Harry?
The first thing I'd like to say is I found some ration stamps during World War II. They were rationing gasoline and other commodities to save for the war effort. And I gave them to the museum. And when I went, my dad said, join the Army. And I ended up in a little town called Munchweiler on the Rodab. And because at that time, there were kids in the Army that didn't have a high school education, but I did. So they made me like GED instructor, got these kids their high school education diploma. And when I went over to Germany, I had already studied the German language, like Ich liebe dich is I love you. And I went down to the police station and showed him my stickers, and if I can approach the
Okay.
Wyoming Highway Patrol. You pay $100 a year.
Coin. Uh-huh.
Every time one. Oh, they're waiting for it. find out from the Wyoming Highway Patrol who does their stickers.
Kind of reinstitute this program, reintroduce this program?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Stickers.
Okay.
Yeah. Ended up in Germany. A lot of kids that it's I had in high school. I had studied the German language. Got ready to leave.
Hmm.
They had the highest reinvestment rate.
Hmm.
Because he had a job back. Yeah.
Sure. Well, we'll get together with you and we'll see how we can, in law enforcement, and see how we can maybe move that program along, okay? So thanks, Harry. We appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to take a 1-minute recess. In case anybody doesn't want to sit through the whole meeting. And 2 minutes. Thanks, everybody that has showed up. Appreciate it. Thank you, Carrie. We appreciate it. Okay, we'll reconvene under item 6A, appointment of Marty Carollo to the Joint Powers Telecommunications Board. Marty has volunteered to serve on the Joint Powers Telecommunications Board for a 3-year term. He has 24 years in the telecom business involving all aspects of design, building, and running a plant. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Councilman Kilpack.
I move to confirm the mayor's appointment of Marty Carollo to the Joint Powers Telecommunication Board for 3 years, term beginning September the 5th, 2023 and expiring August 31st, 2026.
Second. Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Kilpack, seconded by Councilman Berg. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. And by the way, at the beginning of the meeting, I meant to mention that we have one council person in Ireland. One had a medical issue today and one is personal off. And so we have 4 people, which is a quorum serving today. Item B, appointment of Ron Williams to the Sweetwater County Tripartite Board. Ron has volunteered to serve on the Sweetwater County Tripartite Board for a 3-year term beginning October 1st, 2023 and expiring September 30th, 2026. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Councilman Berg.
I move to confirm the mayor's appointment of Ron Williams to the Sweetwater County Tripartite Board for a 3-year term beginning October 1st, 2023 and expiring September 30th, 2026.
Second.
Who is that? Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Berg, seconded by Councilman Kilpack. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item C, appointment of Stephanie Johnson to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. The Parks and Recreation Advisory Board is a mayor-appointed board. The advisory board is recommending Stephanie Johnson be appointed to serve a 3-year term. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Councilman Kilpack.
I move to confirm Mayor Rust's appointment of Stephanie Johnson to the Parks and Rec Advisory Board for a 3-year term beginning September 5th, 2023 and concluding September 5th, 2026.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Kilpack, seconded by Councilman Berg. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item 7, resolutions, consideration of a budget resolution for the Animal Control Division. There's a long story here, but I'll let the chief give us a.
I'll try to make it shorter than it is. Mayor, Council, Sean Sterlickson with the Police Department. The Animal Control Division has a microchip program that they use to help owners identify their animals when they get loose from them. They're out of microchips right now, and they traditionally use donation funds to buy more of those. In addition, they've identified some needs that they think will help the shelter run more efficiently and help out their adoption program. They built a yard in the rear of the shelter a few years ago, and it occasionally gets damaged by dogs that are out there just playing, digging, whatever. So they need some concrete in some areas to repair that and make sure those damages don't happen in the future. In addition, they'd like to build a second yard. They think that that will help with their adoption program in showing animals, and also will help the dogs themselves so they can separate the bigger dogs from the smaller dogs when they're out getting their recreation. There's currently enough funds in the donation account that they have to cover all of that. So they'd like to go ahead with that project, and we just ask you to approve the movement of funds from the donation account to the general fund so they can do that.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Good explanation. Anybody have any questions for Sean? I think it's all self-explanatory. Good. Go ahead,
Don't have a
Councilman.
question, but I went down there this afternoon and looked what they were doing. Looks like a really worthwhile project. They've been saving money for a few years to gather it up, so proud of them for being able to do that. So it's a nice addition to their place down there.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So do we have a motion?
Yeah, Mayor,
Councilman Jost.
I move to approve the budget resolution transferring funds from the Animal Control Restricted Funds line item to the Animal Control General Budget in order to purchase more microchips and improve the existing dog yard and construction of an additional dog yard in the amount of $14,178.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Jost, seconded by Councilman Kilpack. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item B, consideration of a resolution for the carryover projects for fiscal year 2024. And I think Chris will give us a brief.
Good evening,
accounting of
Mayor and
what this is
Council.
all about.
This is our annual carryover resolution that we do each year, just moving our projects over. A little higher than normal. it's 109 million. 100 million of that's the wastewater treatment plant carryover, which we all know is coming. And looks like it's moving along. So I'll entertain any questions if you have any.
Anybody have any questions of Chris?
I think 109 million gives them plenty of money to build a walking track in the rec center.
Well, you'll have to fight Mark for that. Maybe Mark can add one around the sewer plant for you.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Councilman Byrd.
I move to approve the resolution increasing the capital projects and general funds from fiscal year 2024 carryover in the amount of $109,596,006.
Second,
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Berg, seconded by Councilman Kilpack. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 8A, consideration to approve a sub-grantee agreement with the Quilting on the Green Committee.
Mayor and Council, Ryan Russ, Government Affairs and Grants. As you will remember, we partnered with the Quilting on the Green Committee a while back to apply for a Wyoming Arts Council grant that was received. And in order to work together with that committee to stay in compliance with the grant guidelines, we've drafted the sub-grantee agreement before you tonight that will allow us to pass the funds through to them. So pretty straightforward with that. I'll take any questions.
Any questions for Ryan? Okay, we'll entertain a motion. Thank you, Ryan.
Mayor,
Councilman Kilpack.
I move to approve and accept the sub-grantee agreement with the Quilting on the Green. The
Second.
right one?
Yeah. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item B is consideration to approve the contracts with the Wyoming Association of Sheriffs and Chiefs of Police.
Mayor and Council, for over a decade now, the Wyoming Association of Sheriffs and Chiefs of Police has provided funding to allow Green River PD to do compliance checks for alcohol and tobacco to ensure that underage consumers aren't purchasing those items. This is just the approval of the contracts for this year. They're the exact same as they have been for a long time.
Okay, again, this is pretty straightforward, and as the chief says, we've been doing this forever. Entertain a motion.
Mayor,
Councilman Berg.
I move to approve the contracts with the Wyoming Association of Sheriffs and Chiefs of Police for fiscal year 2024 alcohol and tobacco compliance checks and authorize the mayor to sign the contracts pending legal approval.
Second,
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Berg, seconded by Councilman Kilpack. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item C, consideration of an agreement with the Green River Chamber of Commerce. I'm going to read this. Funding the Green River Chamber of Commerce was approved by resolution in June of 2023. This is the same agreement that has been approved in the past. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Councilman Berg.
I move to approve an agreement with the Green River Chamber of Commerce in the amount of $95,400.
second,
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Berg, seconded by Councilman Kilpack. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item E, consideration of a contract with R&D sweeping and asphalt maintenance.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Katie Duncombe, Director of Parks and Recreation. This is just an agreement to crack seal and seal coat the green belt. They're planning on trying to get this work done in the fall, but if they don't, this agreement will carry over, lock in those prices for the spring. So that will just be additional maintenance for the green belt.
Good. There's certainly a lot of places where a little improvement will help out. Anybody have any questions of Katie? Okay, we'll entertain a motion. Oh, go ahead, Councilman Jost.
I talked to Katie earlier, but there's a spot up on Indian Hills there that's washed out. The path is washing away. from the runoff in the wintertime. But that's not included in this, but I was just trying to bring it to everybody's attention. But I think it needs a curb cut there because the water has to go up and around down the sidewalk before it gets down to the Logan Street ditch that flows away. So I think we need to probably talk to the streets guys to see what they can do there.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds good. So do we have a motion?
Yeah, Mayor,
Councilman Jost,
I move we approve the contract with R&D Sweeping and Asphalt Maintenance LC for crack sealing and seal coating on the Greenbelt pathway in the amount of $74,975.
we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Joe, seconded rather slowly by, no, just kidding, by Councilman Berg. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. And obviously, as everybody here knows, that the Greenbelt is one of the top priorities for the citizens of Green River. Highly used, so it's nice that we get those improvements. Consideration of an agreement with Dynamic Controls Incorporated. I'll let Chris explain this.
Mayor and council, I definitely don't have anything as cool as a green belt on this one, so I hate to tell you that. This is our electronic lock system, an annual maintenance agreement to keep that software up and running. We're in that software as a service where you pay for it annually or you don't get it. So if you guys want to lock everyone out, don't pay it. I'm good with that. You don't have to come to work.
Okay, Chris, very good explanation there. Does anybody have any questions of Chris? Again, this is pretty self-evident. Okay, we'll entertain a motion.
Yeah, Mayor,
Councilman Jost,
I move we approve the agreement with Dynamic Controls Incorporated for licensing and maintenance on the S2 door lock system in the amount of $10,447 pending legal approval.
Second.
okay, it's been moved by Councilman Joe, seconded by Councilman Berg. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. We only have 3 more pages. Item I, consideration to award the bid to Wyoming Machinery. Go ahead, Mr. Public Works Director.
Should be item G.
Oh, I skipped one, pardon me. Consideration of a contract with the Wyoming Department of Health.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Mark Westmisco, Public Works Department. You'll remember back in the height of COVID, the Wyoming Department of Health initiated a program wherein they would pay us to sample our wastewater so that they could study it for COVID. And they have continued to do that, and this is a renewal of that ongoing study.
And I think we're all aware of that too. So does anybody have any questions for Mark? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Mayor,
Councilman Kilpack.
I move to authorize the mayor to sign the contract between the Wyoming Department of Health and the City of Green River Wastewater Treatment Plant for coronavirus 2, our viruses of concern surveillance in wastewater.
We were just waiting to see if Gary was still awake or not, but I will second that.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item H, consideration to award a bid to Fremont Chevrolet GMC. There we go.
So I'm going to be here for a minute. That's okay. We recently put solicitation out there to acquire a new 4-wheel drive truck for the utility division. We received several bids, and one of the items of that bid indicated a delivery time, and we received a bid that was in our budget and had a delivery time that we like. It's should be here after this award within the next few weeks. So the truck off the lot.
Good. We need to modernize our fleet, obviously. Any questions for Mark?
I just have one.
Go ahead, Councilman.
I'm assuming that that was already budgeted in our regular
Yes.
budget.
Yep.
Good question. Anybody else? Councilman Burke?
I just wish Jim Zimmerman was still on council right now because we're getting Chevrolet. So
Fly American.
South Rock Springs.
So, do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Councilman Berg,
I move to award the bid for a new four-wheel drive, 3/4 ton or larger pickup with a utility service body to Fremont Chevrolet GMC in the amount of $59,934.
Second.
okay, it's been moved by Councilman Berg, seconded by Councilman Kilpack. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item I, consideration to award the bid to Wyoming Machinery.
We received a grant last year to modernize a piece of electrical generation equipment, diesel power generator. That grant was for $100,000. The question about whether this was budgeted, that $100,000 that we got in the grant was budgeted. This is the low bid. And we had to scrape a few pennies together to cover the rest of it.
Okay, well, again, we need to keep up on equipment. Any questions for Mark? Okay, we'll entertain a motion.
Mayor,
Councilman Just,
I move to award the bid for the new 250 KVA generator with trailer to Wyoming Machinery in the amount of $134,521.
Second.
okay, it's been moved by Councilman Just, seconded by Councilman Kilpack. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item J, consideration of a professional services agreement, Western Water Consultants Incorporated, doing business as WWC Engineering.
So
Mark.
we've been talking for some time about the Killdeer wetland system. We went out and got a grant from FEMA to work on the design. We solicited engineers to help us put that design together and evaluate the operating conditions and what modifications may be warranted to the drop structure and how to make that thing operate like a system. We received 9 statements of interest. We interviewed, we narrowed that down to 4 requests for proposal. We interviewed 3 firms. It's a very rigorous competition for this, and we recognize and recommend WWC Engineering to perform that work.
Okay, is there any questions for Mark? Yes, Councilman Burke.
How much of this was covered by grant?
Mayor and council, so the grant was originally for about $92,000, 25% of which was city funds. We had spent some of that money on the earlier stages of this process, which left us approximately $45,000 short to cover the remainder of this $109,000 contract. So we're in the neighborhood of 60,000 grant and the rest from the city. Yeah, and there, as Reed pointed out, we do have a number of additional grant funds moving forward to support the project once we get to the construction stage and potentially some other stages.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions of Mark?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes, Councilman Kilpack.
Does this project with the Killdeer wetland system, does it have anything to helping with the repair of the dam?
That's what it's about.
That's exactly.
We'll be doing an evaluation of the structure as it sits now. We'll be looking at the hydraulics, looking at the hydrology, the river flows, and both how the structure behaves in the river at different flows and how the structure and the wetland behave together, and determine an appropriate course of action that'll help both the structural elements, the safety elements, and also the biological habitat elements in the wetland.
Any other questions? And of course, we'll be encouraging the staff to get the engineers to move as quickly as possible so that we can get the dam corrected after 3 or 4 years of it being not quite the way it's supposed to be. Entertain a motion.
Mayor,
Councilman Kilpack.
I move to authorize the mayor to sign the professional service agreement between the city of Green River and Western Water Consultants Incorporated, DBA WWC Engineering, in the amount of $109,000 for the Killdeer Wetlands System Design Project.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Kilpack, a second by Councilman Berg. Any more discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item K, consideration of a professional services agreement with Jones and DeMille Engineering Incorporated.
Mayor and Council, this is the first of our next round of sixpenny. The sixpenny funds were authorized by the voters in 2022, and we have been working on identifying and prioritizing the first years of work to be done as those funds are generated and as they're accumulating at wherever they are at the county. And so we need good information to be able to produce a good design. So we'd like to go get some surveying and some geotech. These two next items go together. Some surveying and some geotech work. And the first 2 years we want to look at are Riverview and Faith Evans.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Mark? I think we all know this has been coming and we're encouraged that it's here. So I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor,
Councilman Jost.
I move we award the proposal for topographic surveying services for 2024 and or 2024 and 2025 special purpose tax projects to Jones and DeMille Engineering Incorporated in the amount of $7,500 and authorize the mayor to sign the professional services agreement.
Second.
Who said that? Okay. Gary, it was, okay, it's been moved by Councilman Joe, second by Councilman Kilpack. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item L, consideration of a professional services agreement, which Mark just spoke about. So does anybody have any questions or Mark on this one? Same sort of a thing. Okay, let's have a motion.
Mayor,
Councilman Berg.
I move to award the proposal for subsurface exploration for the 2024-2025 special purpose tax projects to Western EGI in the amount of $18,200 and authorize the mayor to sign the professional services agreement.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Berg, seconded by Councilman Just. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item M is consideration to approve a software maintenance agreement with FlowPoint Environmental Systems.
So this is similar to the door controls. This one is actually our water salesman over there by the wastewater treatment plant. So to be able to continue operating that device, we need to update the software service agreement.
Okay, again, this is another self-evident, obviously, in view of the project. Anybody have any questions for Mark? Okay, we'll have a motion.
Mayor,
Councilman Byrd.
I move to accept the Waters Plus software maintenance agreement for the water salesman in the amount of $1,095 and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement pending legal approval.
Moved by Councilman Berg, seconded by Councilman Jost. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item N, consideration to renew the equipment maintenance agreement and software subscription with Core and Main.
Mayor, Council, this one is for our meter reading system.
Okay, for the meter reading system software. Anybody have any questions of Mark? let's have a motion then.
Mayor,
Councilman Kilpack.
I move to approve the equipment maintenance agreement and software subscription with Core. Not Steve Core, but with Core. And Maine for the water meter reading equipment and software.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Kilpack, second by Councilman Berg. Any questions, comments? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Entertain a motion. Thank you, Mark. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mayor,
Councilman Just.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. And before we go to the city administrator's report, I want to report that the sales tax for the month is $1,091,055.71. And Reed can put that into perspective if he remembers the numbers from this morning in terms of how much more that is and kind of historically what it is. So anyway, good news. Sales tax continues to be up a little bit. Reed?
Thanks, Mayor and Council. Yeah, that number is higher than the previous years. We tend to see that number kind of come up during this time. Last year was about 968,000. Year before that was 770,000. So as you'll kind of aware, and anything that we have some tax revenues, especially within the climate that we have, is going to help on that 6 penny issue as well. So the quicker we can get that done and paid, it's going to help. A lot of expansions in here that are also helping that. So now we'll continue to monitor that because we still need, we need to average above that number that we had budgeted, and at least we're on the right track at this point in time. Definitely a lot of items on the meeting tonight. So thanks for hanging tough since it was only 4 of you. And the only announcement I have is just for those that didn't see that on Friday, we did make the announcement, and Katie Duncombe is the new Parks and Rec director. She's done a great job during the interim, and we're excited to have her be a part of that team. The work that she's done, proven to me and to us that we're in good hands to continue moving forward with the recognition that our Parks and Rec department has received, and she's really excited about it. So thank you.
Thanks, Reed. Mr. City Attorney.
I have no report tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you, Galen. We'll start with Councilman Kilpack.
I just want to congratulate Katie for her new position. I'm sure she'll do a great job, but she does have one assignment. And that is, now that we're getting all this extra money, we should be having a walking track in the rec center quite soon. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Kilpack. Councilman Just.
I also just have one thing. When I was looking at the drainage problem up there off of Indian Hills onto the Greenbelt, I noticed, and it's a stop sign. I've talked to Mark before, and it's bleached out. You can't even hardly see the letters on the stop sign. And the neighbors up there, a couple of them have complained to me about it. I said, well, they're going to do the highway in a year or so, but I seen that got canceled. So I was thinking maybe you can talk to the highway department, see if they can scrounge up some funds and change a stop sign. Okay, thank you. That's all I have there.
Thank you, Councilman Just. Councilman Berg.
I just also want to congratulate Katie on the position. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, and congratulations, Katie. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mayor.
Councilman Kilpack.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, stay.